So now I'm going to talk about section 2.5, which is about linear functions and linear models. Okay, linear functions and linear models. So what exactly a linear function is? Something like this: f of x equals mx plus b, which we know as the slope-intercept form of the equation of a line, is a linear function. Linear function meaning its graph is a line, and x, it's linear because x has an exponent of 1. M is called the slope, as you know, of that line, and b is the y-intercept. When we say y-intercept, that means it's the value of y when x is 0. So it's actually 0, b is the y-intercept. Okay, 0 comma b is the y-intercept, because if you put in a 0 for x, m times 0 is 0, 0 plus b is b, that's your y value. That's why it's called the y-intercept. So if you look at number 8, 95, it's probably one of the easiest sections. It says, determine whether the function is linear. If it's linear, express it in the form ax plus b or mx plus b. Number 8, it is linear, page 195, and it's actually negative 4x plus 2. You can see the slope is 4 and the y-intercept is 0, 2. It is linear. Okay, it looks like f of x equals mx plus b. And if you look at 12, page 195, f of x equals 2x minus 3 over x. Definitely nonlinear. This is a irrational function. You cannot write it as mx plus b. And 16, page 195, it says, for the given, make a t-table and sketch its graph. What's the slope of the graph? Well, you can look at the equation and you can tell that the slope is negative 2. They want us to graph it first by putting points in 0, 4, 1, 2, 2, 0. That should be more than enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, that's piece of cake. 2, 0, and you can see the graph. Okay, that's pretty easy stuff. So when we say slope, remember what we talked in section 2.4, slope of line is the same thing as average rate of change. Exact same thing, okay? Average rate of change. So number 40, page 196. 40, page 196. The amount of copper ore produced from a copper mine in Arizona is modeled by the function f of x equals 200 plus 32x. Since where x is the number of years since 2005, is the number of years since 2005. So x equals 0, that's the year 2005. X equals 1, that's 2006. X equals 2, 2007, and so on. F of x is the amount of copper ore produced. Okay, copper ore produced in Arizona. And f of x is measured in thousands of tons. This is thousands of tons. And x is the years since 05. Sketch a graph of f, so you can sketch the graph. Okay, I'm not going to do that. You can graph it, you should be able to. What is the slope of the graph? So the slope of the graph right there is 32. And it's thousands of tons of copper. Remember, it's change in y over change in x. X is in years, so thousands of tons of copper per year. At what rate is the amount of ore produced change? That's the average rate of change, which is exactly the slope, which is 32 thousandths of tons of copper per year. That's the same answer because they're the same value. Okay, let's look at one more. 46. Page 197. Distance, speed, and time. Jacqueline leaves Detroit at 2 p.m. and drives at a constant speed, traveling west on I-90. It should be 94. We don't have I-90, I think. I don't know. She passes Ann Arbor, 40 miles from Detroit. Yeah, it must be I-94 at 2:50. So she leaves at 2 p.m. She leaves Detroit. She gets to Ann Arbor at 2. She passes Ann Arbor at 2:50 p.m. and that's 40 miles away. Find a linear function d that models the distance in miles she has traveled after t minutes. So when d distance travel after t, which is minutes. Alright, so basically it's d of t equals mt plus b. To find d is a mile, t is the minutes. So at t equals 0, there was no distance, right? D was 0. Okay, at t equals 0, d equals 0, so b is 0. So no y-intercept. So d of t equals mt. M is the slope, change in distance over change in time. So it's 40 miles over how many minutes? Over 50 minutes, which is 4 over 5 mile per minute. So d equals 4 over 5t. Draw a graph, you can do that. What's the slope? It's 4 over 5, obviously. At what speed is Jacqueline traveling? 4 over 5 miles per minute. Okay, 4/5. So it's about 0.8 miles per minute. And that's it for 2.5.